All right, what's going on, everybody? How's everyone doing? Well, I'm kind of going in on a lot of people this week, and today I'm going to go in on Keith Thurman. I was reading an article today on Boxing Scene about Thurman saying that he's demanding a rematch with Manny Pacquiao, and he's not going to retire until he gets one. Full disclosure, I respect Keith Thurman as a fighter. I think he's a very talented individual, but I just never been a fan of just him, the way he acts. Just comes off to me is kind of cartoonish. He's like a WWE character. Doesn't seem really authentic. He seems kind of fake and phony. He's always contradicting himself, and he has a set of rules for himself, but he doesn't apply it to others. In other words, or I should say, he has a set of rules for other people, but he doesn't apply it to himself. I remember back when he was at a Paulie Malignaggi press conference, and Paulie Malignaggi was the WBA welterweight champion, and he's sitting there saying, "Don't duck me, son! Don't duck me, son!" Because he was mad because Paulie Malignaggi wouldn't give him a title shot. Paulie Malignaggi said, "Well, no one really knows who you are. You've never even really main evented before. Uh, you've never been in a big fight. You're just not a headliner. Why should I fight you? Blah 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 blah." And he was hooting and hollering about that. And then when Errol Spence was calling him out, the same excuse that Paulie used on him that he complained about, he used it on Errol Spence, saying Errol Spence never fought anybody. He's not a name, you know. So I just find him to be very hypocritical. And this latest claim about wanting to fight Pacquiao, like demanding it, like the fight has to happen. It's almost like he's owed it. He's entitled to it. Blah blah blah. Now the fight was close, but I thought Pacquiao won. But let's look at some of the fights that he's had that were close, that could have gone either way. When you really think about it, you look at his fight with Sean Porter, which was a majority decision. I had him winning the fight, but I thought he edged it out. I thought the fight could have gone either way. I had it 115 and 113 for Keith Thurman. Same thing with Danny Garcia. Had Keith Thurman winning that fight, 115 and 113. But that was a split decision. That one was close enough that you can make an argument for Garcia. So why didn't those guys get rematches? Why didn't those guys get rematches? I disagree, JC. I don't think he clearly won either one of those fights. I thought he won the fights, but I don't think he won them clearly. I think you can make an argument for both guys, and many people have made arguments for both guys. So I disagree with you on that one. But yeah, so why didn't those guys get a rematch? And even Errol Spence, when Errol Spence became the unified champion, he wasn't. He's still not banging down the door to fight Errol Spence. We can get two belts for the price of one, and then he could fight Pacquiao for all the marbles. So here's the thing: what incentive does Pacquiao have to fight him? He doesn't have a title anymore. There's talks of Pacquiao going on to fight Crawford, and there was even talks of him fighting Spence. So why should Pacquiao fight Keith Thurman again when he could fight other guys, and in the process he could unify the title? He could pick up the WBO belt, and you could argue that a fight with Crawford would be more enticing to the fans and probably do more pay per view buys. Fight with Errol Spence would probably do more pay per view buys because it would be for three belts instead of just one. What incentive does he have to fight you again, Keith Thurman? Just like you had no incentive, in your opinion, to fight Errol Spence, and you had no incentive, in your opinion, to fight Sean Porter again after the fight was razor close. Same with Danny Garcia. So to me, I just think Keith Thurman's a hypocrite. I think he's kind of phony. He just doesn't come off as authentic to me. Just things he says makes no sense. I got to but I'm not afraid to let it go. But yet you wouldn't fight Errol Spence. What was the reason why you wouldn't fight Errol Spence? Especially after Errol Spence beat Kell Brook in dominating fashion over in the UK, went in his backyard. But yet that still wasn't enough. So all of a sudden now you're demanding a rematch with Manny Pacquiao when you wouldn't give those other fighters I just mentioned the same courtesy. So it is what it is, man. Oh, I'm sorry, JC. You meant Pac beat Keith clearly. Yeah, I thought it was close. I thought it was close. But if you argue in all of Keith Thurman's big fights, they were close. They were like split decision, majority decision victories. And all when he fought the top guys, he doesn't have a clear definitive win. Like at least Errol Spence can say, I got a clear definitive win over Kell Brook. I stopped the guy, you know. And the Sean Porter fight that, with Errol Spence, it was a split decision, I guess. But I thought that Spence clearly won the fight, especially with the knockdown, But it was a close fight, I guess. I'm not going to necessarily say it was close. It was competitive, in my opinion. I think it was competitive. But, yeah, I mean, Keith Thurman's a weird dude, man. He went away for a couple years, had that fight with Josecito Lopez, looked very uninspired in that fight. And as a result of being uninspired, in my opinion, the way he looked, he had a very mediocre performance in that fight and almost got stopped. So I just find it bizarre, hypocritical, and just more weird behavior from Keith Thurman. Like all of a sudden, the world is just supposed to stop for Keith Thurman and give, he's supposed to get Manny Pacquiao. He deserved that rematch with Manny Pacquiao. Again, I just don't see the incentive for Pacquiao to fight him again, where he can probably make better money fighting other champions and picking up more belts and just adding even further to his legacy. What does he get off of fighting you again? To be perfectly honest with you, you don't have a belt anymore. Now all of a sudden, you're talking about fighting Errol Spence, but Errol Spence is saying, "Why should I fight you now? When you had a belt and I had a belt, and you had a belt and I had a belt, and you didn't want to fight me. Oh, I got 2 belts, you got no belts. What incentive is it for anyone now? Now all these people are going to take a look at you and pass you over because you didn't do anyone else any favors. Talking about you wanted to be the best. Now I give you credit for fighting Garcia. I give you credit for fighting Porter, but you still never fought Spence. You still never fought Spence when a lot of people wanted that. You still never fought Spence. Josecito beat DSG and got robbed like 15 years ago. I don't remember that, but I don't remember that. I mean, Mauricio Herrera arguably beat Danny Garcia, which I actually had that Mauricio Herrera-Danny Garcia fight a draw, but we'll see. Yeah, guys, tell me, like, are any of you banging down the door, beating the drums hard to see Keith Thurman and Manny Pacquiao get it on again? Does that fight make sense to any of you? Honestly, I'm just curious. You just let me know. You just let me know. Oh, I'm not saying you're wrong, DJ Georgie Porgy. I'm just saying that I don't remember it. 15 years ago. I mean, you're asking me to try to remember something 15 years ago. I just don't remember it. I'll have to go back and look. I'm not saying you're wrong. I mean, it's obviously you have a right to your own opinion. It is what it is. But yeah, I don't know. So yeah, I mean, it's just weird, man. Keith Thurman, just his whole persona, the way he carries himself. He just, I don't know. He just kind of rubs me the wrong way, but by the way he acts, the things he says. Just never been a big fan of Keith Thurman. Just the way he carries himself outside the ring. I think he's a decent fighter. It's funny how he was like one time, but then all of a sudden when he started fighting, the tougher guys, he started fighting a whole totally different style, and that's his right to do so. You don't have to go in there and try and knock everybody out, but you were talking all that rah-rah stuff, and then once you started fighting the tougher guys, you just weren't about that life anymore, to me. That's just how I feel. Thank you so much, Alexander Wilson. He said, I feel Thurman's best days are behind him. I feel like he's an afterthought now, but I would love a Bud Thurman fight. I thought Peterson beat DSG. Yeah, I had Peterson beating Danny Garcia 115 and 113. I thought Lamont Peterson won that fight, in my opinion. So, yeah. Plus, yeah, a lot of people are in the chat talking about the injuries. I don't think Keith Thurman's ever going to be the same again. I think, when he got married, too, he kind of lost that edge to him. Just had a different mentality altogether. I agree with you, Callie King. Brian, my man Brian in the chat. What's up, brother? I think, yeah, I think he definitely needs a signature win to get back in the mix. Should he jump right back into a rematch with Pacquiao? Nah, based off of what? I'm not going to say the fight wasn't competitive, but I thought Pacquiao won the fight, scored the knockdown. It is what it is. And this was an old Pacquiao who's not even at his best. And he beat you, man. And I picked him to beat you too. So I just don't think that you're the man at welterweight anymore. I just don't. I don't even know who the man is at welterweight anymore. After seeing Crawford in that Kabaluskas fight. Oh shit, Eric's just told me fight tonight canceled due to COVID. Remember we were talking about this, Eric? What happens if so I'm assuming multiple people have COVID. That's why the whole card was canceled. Right? Remember we were talking about this? What happens if if multiple people pop positive for COVID? And also, so multiple fighters have it. Yeah, so I guess I got my answer on what's going to happen if multiple people test positive for COVID. I guess the whole card's going to get scrapped, which is crazy. Wow. Wow, that's nuts. That is nuts. Yeah. Yeah, the welterweight division is wide open right now because we don't know how Errol Spence is going to be. We haven't seen him come back since the accident. And Terrence Crawford against Kabaluskas, I thought he looked a little bit human in that fight. I'm not saying that possibly he didn't fight down to the levels of opposition. Maybe he was complacent. Who knows? I don't want to make excuses for the guy. Kabaluskas, I thought, knocked him down but didn't get credit for it. So he looked human in that fight. So that's probably the reason why now all of a sudden Pacquiao wants to fight Crawford now. Now he's not concerned about fighting Crawford now, where before it looked like, they were trying to avoid Crawford, trying to navigate him away from Crawford and fight other guys, which is why he fought Thurman. But I don't know. Oh, so the card will go on, but the main event is scrapped. Wow. Okay. And someone in Les Pierre's camp tested positive as well. Okay. That's crazy. So let's talk about those top ranked cards real quick. We'll change the subject a little bit here, and then we'll get back to Keith Thurman in the welterweight division in a second. Now, I thought the DeMarco fight on Tuesday was a very good fight. I thought the main event was very entertaining as well. Big upset in the main event. So two of the fights were good. So if you're going to show a full card and only 2 fights are good, I don't know. Is that enough? Is that enough for the fans? I mean, obviously it's on regular ESPN, so it's not like it's pay-per-view or anything like that. But I thought 2 fights were good. Just like on the last week, I thought 2 fights were good on each of those cards. But the other 2 were kind of subpar. So in your opinion, as boxing fans, do you think that ESPN and Top Rank need to come a little bit harder? Give us a good card from top to bottom? Because let's face it, I mean, boxing needs to make some noise now to get back into the mix because UFC's killing it right now. Boxing's trying to make some headway. Should they be coming back a lot harder than they've come back so far? That's what you have to ask yourself. Should they be coming back harder than they're coming back right now? And should we cut them some slack? Should we give them a little more time? Should we just wait this out and hopefully, you know, gradually these cards will continue to improve? You know, that's what you have to ask yourself. So yeah, this is crazy. How this is crazy. So it says, let's look at some numbers here. It says Grant Planea, the broadcast peaked at 503,000 viewers and an average 350,000 viewers. It's not too bad considering, it was a weeknight, It's not bad. That was a good fight, though. That was a good fight. So crazy how they were hyping up Greer so much. They were getting out their pom poms, trying to hype him up so much, and giving Planea no credit whatsoever. And I thought he dominated the fight. To be perfectly honest with you. So I thought the scoring was a little bit off, to be perfectly honest with you. Definitely thought the scoring was definitely off. But one judge having that fight a draw was ridiculous, I thought. So I still want to give Top Rank and ESPN the benefit of the doubt. They're trying. They're trying hard. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, they're trying hard to put on the best shows they can, I guess. So we'll see what happens, because I think ESPN. Hold on for 1 second, guys. I'm going to have to cut this video short. I just got a very important call, so I will check out here, and maybe I'll jump back on later in the week. But yeah, let me know what you think about Thurman being body all of a sudden, thinking he's the shit, demanding rematches when he never was willing to give one himself. Thank you so much, Alexander Wilson. He says, Dr. Fauci said earlier today that kind of put down sporting events and that the crowded events may not happen. We may be in for some more pain. Okay. Well, that's not good news. All right. Thank you, guys. I gotta take that call. I gotta call that person back. It's a very important phone call. I'm sorry. I have to cut this short. But thank you so much for joining, and we'll talk later about it. That's right, Eric. Thank you so much. I always end it with that, but I forgot this time. Make sure you tune in Sunday to the Ringside Reporter podcast, and make sure you subscribe and share and like, and join the premium membership as well. Thank you so much, guys. Talk to y'all soon. Have a great day.